Alright, first video of the week here. Saturday. I didn't stay out here for very long. Ran out of the short hair fiberglass filler. I did put first round in that side and first round in that side over there. Pretty much got all this sanded, dents repaired, and got some more of the fiberglass on order. Short hair fiberglass filler on order. And got to pick it up today about 4 o'clock so that it'll give me Sunday to come out here and jack around. I got that in the Evercoat Rage Ultra, and then I ordered a gallon of the Ultra Extra too. Want to try it out, see what kind of drying times it's got. That way I can skim coat the deck lid, and then eventually we'll be skimming the roof. And then I have to skim top of this fender and skim this door. I figured would be the easiest way to take care of all that. Okay. Got one of the other members off the Facebook charger page, B-body page, supposed to be showing up to get that today. It's 9 1/4 that was originally in this car. Basically it ran and drove when I removed it out of this car, so good rear end. Alright, get back with you. Alright, get a little garage time in here today. I got to work on them pillars up there. I got a new bucket of the lightweight and a new bucket of the short hair fiberglass in, and yeah, gotta work on this up here and try to get this nice looking. But at the same time, I was having an issue over here that I wasn't liking. So we all remember how bad this area was beat up. I mean, I hammered it back flat, and then I ended up having to push it out a little bit because it was too flat. And I was getting the same kind of scenario here on my body line, and I couldn't put more filler over here on. Let me get down here. So I couldn't put more filler over here on this side to build this up any further to make this at the angle that it needed to be, where when I would look down from this area down this way, this was sticking out further than the rest. So right here in this little area, it was sticking out. You can see where when I was sanding that this was going to bare metal, and that's because it was sticking out further than the rest. I could not see any other way to get that working, because I don't want to add more filler here. You can see I'm real close to metal right in here, and that's the way I want it. I don't want it to be thick, you know, like 1970s bodywork. I want it to be a little bit more modern. So what my fix was is I had to fold this lip over, and then I took a template and made a template of this area, and after that I cut me out a couple pieces of metal that were, well, this is more of the contour here. So I cut me out a piece of metal that was pretty much that shape, and then I cut out a second one here, and I welded. I got these vice grips here that I can go in behind lips like that to put the vice grips on. So what I did is I welded that to the vice grips lightly. I mean, I didn't penetrate it to make it stay on there, but I put a tack on it good enough where it would work while I was trying to bend it to get it back to where it needed to be, if that makes sense. So I mean, you just have to wrap your head around the situation and then try to figure out a way to manipulate the metal so that it's where you want it to be and not where it wants to be. If that makes sense to you. So with this piece, I went back here behind it and I found the existing body line. I mean, there wasn't much there because this was kind of flattened off here, is what the situation was. That was really kind of getting to me. Didn't look right. So with this back here behind on the back side, right at the crease, I was able to bend this back where it needs to be, where you can see if you're looking down now. Before, when you was looking down, this piece here was out here where you could actually see it, if that makes sense to you guys. I'm trying to give you the best angles I can. So see how much further that is back in there now, and it looks more even with the other body line. So that's what I was working for, is because like I said, when I was like doing body work and then I come walking back up through here, it's just, you see stuff at different angles, and then about the time I get right here, I could see that sticking out, you know. So anyways, now that I got it bent to where it needs to be, I'll go ahead and work on this line a little bit more. I can get it to be a little more profound now, and flatten this all back out here because I did have to hammer it a little bit. But anyways, that's where I'm at with it. Just trying to make it look right. So got that straightened out. Do a little bit more filler work over here and then work on this. I need to clean this blockade off that I had here to keep the door from moving on the top and bottom, and then once that's done, I need to smear some lightweight filler on all of it and then block across it all again, just to make sure it's definitely where it needs to be. So alright, that's where I'm at with it. Get back with you. Okay, so I'm about 3 hours in here. I did get that looking a lot better, where it's rolled in now and even. Gives me a more pronounced body line there in that area. It's not just flat like some girls. Yeah. Anyways, yeah, so that turned out a lot better after a little bit of work on that. And then this is my third coat up here. So this one here is pretty much the last of the shaping in this area, should I say. The next coat will just be the lightweight filler. But yeah, it's really shaping up here. And the good thing about doing the quarter panels myself was remembering how they had the lead in here, and they had the lead going all the way up in here because it's a low right here. So that helps knowing where your lead was, but I think it's going to turn out pretty nice here. Once I get this one done, this side of the car is pretty much ready for shoot some epoxy back on. I'll probably put a little filler right here beforehand, just to clean up that weld and that grinded area. But I think I'm almost there, man, on this side. Meanwhile, back at the ranch, because you need to be moving around a little bit, I guess you should say, because you got to wait for stuff to dry before you can sand it. So that's how I've done it from here. I started here, and then I worked on here, and then I worked on the top, and then worked on this part. So, you know, just have two places going at the same time. But don't forget, when you smear something on, that if you have any stuff that you need to cut out or use the file on, the cheese grater file, make sure you get that done before it gets rock solid. Well, that almost happened to me. So I was like over here working on this, right, you know, putting another patch on here. But before I done that one, I smeared some on this section, and then after smearing it on that section, I went in the house to refill my drink, my tea, and then I was sitting here and I was like, well, I guess I'll go back here and sand on this, forgetting about that. But I didn't go back here and sand on that because I needed my air to blow off my paper as I was sanding. So I went back to this side to get my air, because that's where I had left it. And I remembered, oh crap. So I had filler in this crack here, and thank God it cut right out. It was right at the right time. So just remember what you're doing, because if that would have hardened up, man, that would have been a nightmare. I would have had to just grind it all back down and start over. But okay, that's where I'm at. I've moved on to this side, and I'm using the short hair fiberglass here, and I will use it here too. Here got kind of a head start over here, so that's what I'm doing today. I'm going to try to stay out here as long as I can, work my butt off today, and see how much of it I can actually get done. And I know I can't do the trunk lid or the roof until I get my other filler in, the extra that gives me longer to work with. I'm at the bottom of this, and it's starting to get some clumps in it, so I'm thinking about just going ahead and tossing it. Kind of sucks, but at the same time, anybody that does this stuff knows that if you got clumps in it, it's you start swiping, and next thing you got a line in it. So yeah, time to get rid of that, open the new can, and I'll be moving on. So I mean, I'll be fine, because when it's all said and done, I'm going to have 1, 2, 3 gallons of filler to work with, which should be way more than needed. Alright, get back with you on it. Okay, so I got this pretty much shaped out. I don't know if you can see that, but pretty much got that shaped out where it's like super close. But I'm fixing to put a coat of just a lightweight filler on it, and then I can shape it completely back to normal. Got this side knocked down for the first round, and I'm gonna put another round on it because I still had a little bit low over on this side, right in here, and still a little bit low on this corner to get it to match up to the door. But yeah, moving along. I'll get back with you. Just want to show you real quick. I got this coat on there and smoothed down. Gotta wait for it to dry, get it sanded, and I went ahead and smeared my second round on short hair fiberglass on this. So let it all dry up. I'm waiting for this to get a little harder so I can cut the gap back out here. But alright, get this done and I'm gonna go get something to eat. Lunchtime. Night night. Okay. Oh man, this is like a few hours later from the last little video I put out. Had to go back over this because I got to looking at it and it was really just, it was dipping off right here pretty good from like here over where the seam actually goes together. So I needed to build it out a little bit better so I can get that line established and looking good where it's not going whoop. But other than that area, I'm pretty good all up through here. I got this one little hip right here, and I'm wondering if I need to put a little bit more in here and just kind of blend it. But anyways, that's where I'm at, working on this. It's getting there. And at the same time I was working on this other side, and unfortunately I had it all decked out here, and I mean it was pretty spot on. And then I started on this down here, down lower here, and I ran into some issues. One was my door gap had closed off over here for some oddball reason. I don't know if it was the bolts were loose or something, and while I was sanding on it, it kind of dropped down. I retightened everything and pushed the door back up, and in return pushing the door back up had the door higher than the fender, so I had to adjust the fender back up. And now I'm working on this plane again because I got a lip up here is pretty good. Down here is not very good, so that's what I'm working on. I'm wondering if I got enough material here to keep sanding until I match back up. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to keep sanding there until either I match back up or I end up having to re-smear, one or the other. This area right here, you can see, kind of dips in here in the center. So with that, I believe what I'm going to have to do is take the welds loose. Take these 2 welds loose here. Pull this out. Tweak it so that it's not bent in the center here. And then re-weld. Anyways, one step forward, one step back. That's the way it goes. Got to do what you got to do to make it nice. And I didn't want this gap closed off down here. It would have looked horrible. So, get back with you. It's like 6 o'clock, so I got like maybe 3 more hours or so that I can jack around out here. Then I'll be done. I'll be out of here. Later. Alright, been a hell of a day. I got about 10 hours out here. Well, between going in and eating something for lunch and going in and eating dinner, I've been out here pretty much all day. So I was able to get that straightened out. You can see my pencil mark where I scribed a line across there to make it match up going around the corner there. And you can see how far I was off. You can see here is where I had to put more filler on, so that's how far I was off from being where it needed to be. So anyways, got that taken care of. This little dent was taken care of. Still need to sand this off, but this side is pretty close to just saying it's done. Filler wise, that is. Got a place across the bottom of the door that I got to sand yet. That little place back there I need to sand yet. And then I'll be ready to go ahead and shoot epoxy primer back on the ball-headed spots and move on from that. This side here, it threw me a big fit today. You can see I got it locked in here where the door is pretty much even. So what had happened, I think I told you guys in the previous video that the door gap was almost closed off over here, so I had to readjust after I had already got my plane done across here. So that was a kick in the butt to have to go back and raise the door up and then return. If I raised the door up, then I had to raise the fender up a little bit to get it to match there across that area. And then the other thing was down along here, for some reason this was kicked in. Well, it wasn't kicked in, but it was in that way right here in the center, and it was going to require, you know, 1/8 inch of filler to get it to be back where it needed to be. So I broke it loose down here on the bottom. Could have put a couple pie cuts down here, not pie cuts, just slices, and worked on it until I got it back flat, and then I had to weld everything back up. So I got weld splatter in my ears and on my head and in my face, and I hate weld splatter. But anyways, I still will have to go across this with a coat of just lightweight filler, and that area will be taken care of. The gap's nice. After moving the fender up, I ended up having to tweak the fender here. I pushed it in closer here at the bottom, and then had to push it here to get my gap back to what it was. So, in other words, this door dropping down gave me a headache, man, because after the door dropped down, I had to readjust everything, respread everything, resand everything. But I'm glad I did, because it's actually nicer than it was and what it was going to be. So there's that. And when I come back out, I will do this door and do the plane across there. This is pretty much the only dent I could see on the back of this quarter panel. So I need to sand that, and then I'll have to fill this in and finish this up. So that's the way it's going. So I'm just kind of working my way back that way. And then I need to work on the top of this fender, which it's just these little spots like that. I'm thinking I'm just gonna put a little filler right there. I got that one, and then that one, and then over in here there's a little bit of a dent right there. So almost feels like a high spot right here. So I might have to ding that back in. So anyways, yeah, there's not much on the top of that fender. There's a little spot right there. That's not too bad. And then let's see. I got that spot on the fender. And then this area right here is pushed in a little bit. So I need to push that back out. You can probably see the little crease right there. But yeah, that's where we're at with that. Sneaking up on it. Be glad to get the sides of the car done, and my other filler should be in next week. Say this week coming up, so I can put a skim coat on the trunk lid, and then eventually the roof, and then not much on the hood, because you know I took that hood apart and knocked most of the dings out of it, so there won't be much work to it. Oh, I got 1 week to get it done, bodywork wise. I don't know if I hit it a couple more days like I did today, I might be there. We'll see. Night night. Alright, so lucky me, I have no service work today, Monday. The only service call I had canceled, so I'll get back after this. Yeehaw. Here we go. I'll let you know. Okay, so jacking around still. Went ahead and smeared some short hair fiberglass on the area where the quarter panel meets the rocker here, and Saw a little area up there that needed attention, so I added some extra there. And we know we've seen that. Been on this side for a while. Let's see. So, I'm done with the fiberglass up here. Now I'm on to the lightweight filler. So I'll have to get that shaped. And then I got this planed out here and still working on getting the body line back to where it needs to be. Same thing here. Went ahead and put the short hair fiberglass on that section. Same thing up there. Been working on that dog leg of the fender and getting all that corner right there to match up, and the body line up there also. So that's where I'm at with it. Kind of getting bored with it, so I'll probably just go ahead and call it for now. I mean, come back out maybe later on or something, but right now I'm just getting bored, so I think I'm gonna go find something else to do. But you know, you got this intersection here, and this guy here wants the right of way, but he can't because this is a busy intersection here. No, just kidding. But yeah, I'm just working on this intersection here, trying to get all this lined up and establish the body line right here, so that it's kind of a weird body line where it kind of curves up in the center of the door. I don't think it's actually curving up, but the door is curved in, if that makes sense. I don't know. It could be curving up, but it doesn't get any bigger. I don't think it does anyways. I don't know, maybe it does, but it looks like it curves up and then back down into the quarter. It's a weird ass line, but anyways, yeah, I went ahead and hit this door with 80 grit on a block, and my little dents, they're not really that bad. I'm thinking about just smearing a little filler on them. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. But the couple of them are so light that you can't even hardly see them. Like that first one there is so light, and then them two, and then that one right there, it's really light too. So I don't think you're gonna need a complete skim coat on this door. If I skim anything, it's probably gonna be this body line down. I think that might be what I do, just to make sure that's even all the way across there. I can't tell, but it almost feels like there's a curve right here, or it curves into the body line. So I was gonna mimic that up here, but then looking at my other door, it's like it starts to fade and disappear, and then this rounds off here. So it's, man, these damn cars are contoured in every direction, turn everywhere you go. So I'm gonna continue working at this, trying to get this bottom part done, because I don't like sitting on the floor over here, but I don't have any choice right now, so I got to get all this lower stuff done the worst part of it, and then move on from this, of course. So, alright, I'll get back with you. Still on this passenger side. Okay, so come back out for a while here and worked on this over here some more. So worked on this lower section here and got the body line kind of established here. I need to put a little bit more filler up here on the top because I want the line to actually, for you to be able to see it. But anyways, almost done with the bottom part here. I still have to go across the rocker panel because it has all those repairs from where the studs were, and got to fix that. Same thing back there. Got the bottom pretty much done. Just got to resand that top up there. And anyway, so moving on here. I did get this up here pretty much done. The corner here established. Yep, so I am getting some things accomplished here. I got that. Look, my lights flashing on you. That section done. Same thing on the other side, rinse and repeat. Like Steve would tell you. Rinse and repeat. I went ahead and locked this door back in place. Because I think I'm going to smear a little bit more filler over here. Just to kind of cover up the short hair fiberglass and double check to make sure that that's good. And then same thing here with my line. I'll be able to tape up to the line here and then fill to it and back up. So gotta sand this and put some more filler on it. I'm pretty sure I'm going to have to remove those studs because I believe them were for, no, they were probably for this trim, but the trim that you buy nowadays doesn't use those clips. And I'm not going to put SE trim on here anyway, so. Alright. To where I'm at with it. I think moving right along here. Shouldn't take much longer, and I'll be ready to shoot the epoxy primer back on. And once it's on, I'll do a once over with the dry coat with the 80 grit on a couple different blocks where I'm not digging into the panel anymore, just smoothing for the most part. And that's that. So I'm still waiting on the Ultra Extra to come in so I can do deck lid, and I might possibly have to do the roof. I still need to guide coat it and sand it to actually see what it looks like first before I decide. Anyways, we already know about that. Oh, what joy. Moving on. Okay, so after 3 fun-filled days of smearing and sanding and smearing and sanding and smearing and sanding and smearing and sanding, this is where I'm at with it. This is all been guide coated and blocked out. Door edges are done. You can actually see a body line now, where there was no body line there before. Got this area sanded and done. Cut all those little what are they called, trim studs off of the rocker on this side, because there ain't any on the other side, so might as well make it match. So cut all those off, smeared some filler on those areas, got all that sanded. So that being said, this side is pretty much ready for me to shoot a couple coats of the high build epoxy primer back on, and then I can let that dry for a few days, and then I'll block sand the whole thing with the 80 after guide coating it. And then after that, then the polyester primer goes on the sides. But unfortunately, today is Tuesday, and the other filler won't be here until the 1st, December the 1st, so there's no way in heck I'm ever gonna make it for December, beginning of December. So that's where I'm at with it. Just steady on it. I've been on it for 3 days. Got a little area right there I still need to work on, but then the top of this fender here, I was just going to do the area that I knew of right here, the low, but after guide coating and blocking it, you can see ball-headed spot, low, ball-headed, low, low, low. So yeah, this all needs, it's gonna need a skim coat on the top of that to get it straight. So anyways, back at the ranch here, all this is done. Body line, gaps, rocker panel all the way across. Went ahead and did the door. Got one more spot right here that I want to hit, but I'll wait until I shoot the epoxy back on. Other than that, all this back here, the door gap here, this lower section, I still need to smear one more coat on this, and then that will be done. And then I went ahead and guide coated the quarter panel and sanded it, and happy. pretty nice, man. I don't see any substantial dents or lows or anything like that. And then I got this all done, guide coated it, checked it. So yeah, it's just a matter of the high build epoxy, and then the polyester coating for the sides. Got one, maybe two small little spots to take care of, and then the top of that fender. This is definitely gonna need a guide coat, but I already knew that. So okay, that's what I thought I'd show you where I'm at. So 3 days steady at it. I've pretty much got the sides buttoned up and ready for Pete and repeat. Went for boat ride. So there we are. Pete fell out. You know who was left? Me. So did work on this spot up here and these little spots right here. I think I'm going to have to put the bolts in that. Alright. Oh, worked on this area up here. Do some final touching right up in there. Yep, it's real close. Like maybe another couple hours or so, just going over and, you know, picking out little pinholes and stuff like that that need to be filled up. And then we'll be ready. Alright. It's been real. It's been fun. Can't say it's been real fun. Okay, so it's Thanksgiving Day. Added a little something here in my, I'm not a body guy, I'm an appliance repair guy shop. So put some lights over here on the wall so I can see reflections, and when I check through the panel check, and yeah, pretty lightweight, but they'll work for what I'm using them for. And then got the heat rolling, trying to warm it up in here, as it was like 45 degrees in here this morning. So got this up about halfway and got the electric heat going, and I'm up to 61, so it's climbing. So I don't have a wall to put these on over here on this side. So what I got is a couple old guitar stands that were laying around in the basement here from my stepson years ago, and he's never going to come back to get them, so I'm going to use them. And seems like they worked out pretty good. A couple guitars. These things are pretty light. These lights are. So there's what we got. We got some light on this situation here. Guitar stands. Alright, get back with you. Okay, so next day, I don't know, if I showed you guys, but I got the flow cooler water pump for the 440. So I'll be getting that on there, but got to go buy new hardware for all the other parts. But anyways, after all the spreading and sanding and smearing and sanding and smearing and sanding and all that good stuff, I had a couple areas that were ball headed down to the metal, so went ahead and reapplied the epoxy. Yeah, let me turn this light on here. But from what I'm seeing so far, I mean, the bodywork is looking really nice here. The transition and the roundness there, it all looks good. Body lines or gaps looking good. Body lines looking good. I went ahead and body worked the top of this fender. You can probably see a little bit of the repairs. Basically, I just skim coated the whole thing and then blocked the whole thing. Repairs on this side. Got a few little spots to touch up, which ain't gonna be too bad. You know, just tiny stuff. I will probably go back over it before applying the polyester primer to it. I figured out the rear end, and being able to keep the 7 leaf on this side, which is meant for, I'm going to say it was a 71 thing for Hemi cars and 446 pack cars. I don't think it was meant for 73 and 74 cars, but I was able to make it work by slicing the rubber isolators in half. Gave me the enough to be able to clamp them down. So it will work in this car. It just takes a little modification. It's not warm enough in here really, in my opinion, to spread any filler or anything, and I'm not trying to turn the electric heat on today. I'm just kind of, I don't know, probably gonna just let this dry another day, because I kept it like, I don't know, 70 degrees in here after this for, I don't know, I'm gonna say 4 or 5 hours yesterday. So it's probably dried and cured, but when it's this cold out, I would rather just give it one more day just to be safe. So anyways, like I said, the next round would be, I'm going to block it with 120, and then I will be not guide coat, but skim coating the trunk lid, and then get the trunk lid all done, and then I'm going to move to the roof and then the hood. Like I said, there's a few little spots like that I will be addressing, and that's what's good about putting it back in primer like this, that them little small places will pop up in your eye and you really get to see. like that. Just a little bit of sanding on those spots, and then that spot, that, you know, just pinholes and stuff like that is where I'm at. And then, like I said, it's on to the 120. I'm done with 80 for now. I will be using 80 on the trunk lid, roof, and hood, but the body is down to the 120. And then after 120, I will shoot the polyester primer, and then I will drop down to a finer grit, work on it, block it, and if it turns out nice, then I will hit it with another finer grit than that until I get down to the 400. So that's where I'm at with it. Too cold to be jacking around out here today. It's like 22 degrees outside today, and I'm just gonna let this run today, keep it about 50 or so degrees in here, and let this thing cure. So with that said, last video of the week, and I will be getting back to this tomorrow. Fun. She's starting to look pretty good. All right, night.